Well, after those dramatic events yesterday that we covered live here on this show of Trump being arrested and charged in a New York courthouse, it was his turn to respond, which he did at 1:15 a.m. our time in the ballroom at, of course, Mar-a-Lago, Florida. He spoke for 25 minutes. Here are just some of the highlights.
And I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. From the beginning, the Democrats spied on my campaign. Remember that? They attacked me with an onslaught of fraudulent investigations. Russia, Russia, Russia. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Impeachment hoax number 1. Impeachment hoax number 2, the illegal and unconstitutional raid on Mar-a-Lago, right here. And just recently, the FBI and DOJ in collusion with Twitter and Facebook in order not to say anything bad about the Hunter Biden laptop from hell, which exposes the Biden family as criminals and which, according to the pollsters, would have made a 17-point difference in the election result. And we needed a lot less than that, like about 16.9. It would have been in our favor, not my favor, our favor, because our country is going to hell.
Well, that's a flavour of what Donald Trump had to say. The country is going to hell. They've been against me from day one. Endless investigations. And, of course, he mentions Hunter Biden. But what I said to you yesterday was that former American presidents have done some dreadful things, but they've always been pardoned. This is, to remind you, the first time ever a serving or former president has received criminal charges. So, is it a case that Donald Trump has finally been caught out for his crimes and his dishonesty? Or is Trump being wronged? And I have to say, it is the completely unequal application of the law in America that says to me there is something very wrong here. It is the fact that the prosecutor, the man himself, Alvin Bragg, in New York, was elected as a Democrat prosecutor with a promise that he would get Trump. And there are other possible indictments coming from Georgia and elsewhere, again, all from Democrats. I think the American judicial system has an absolutely fundamental flaw in it. It is massively, overly politicised. It's not serving a good purpose anymore, and I worry that people will lose complete faith, trust and confidence in it. And if they do, well, they may well then decide to take things into their own hands, which is not what we want. The reason we have democracy is so that we can agree to disagree, but to do so in a peaceful and relatively civilised environment. Certainly within the Republican Party, Trump's status has improved hugely. He was marginally ahead of Ron DeSantis in the polls for who should be the next presidential candidate. He is now miles ahead of Ron DeSantis and anybody else that could potentially enter this race. Is Trump being wronged? Give me your thoughts and your views, please. Farage at gbnews.uk. And we're going to have on, over the course of this programme, we're going to have on people, we're going to have on lawyers, we're going to have on commentators. But what I have noticed, and we saw it last night with people coming onto this show, what I have noticed is there are many on that wing of the Republican Party that don't particularly like Donald Trump. I'm thinking particularly of the Utah senator and former presidential candidate Mitt Romney, and people like Alan Dershowitz, the lawyer, who was on this show last night, a lifelong Democrat voter, opposed to most of Donald Trump's policies, but saying that what is happening here simply isn't right. It's not within the spirit of the American Constitution. It doesn't observe due process, and that it's a bad thing for America. And I tell you what, what's bad for America is also bad for Western civilization.